What's going on, golf addicts? It is Tour Junkies After Dark presented by DraftKings, the only show where you can watch two Southerners late at night with a lot of vodka talk about golf.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's really any other show like that on the interweb, Pat. I've got my American Craft Cup from the Masters this year right here.
Mm-hmm.
A little mystery beverage in here because no free ads. We make that a rule here on Tour Junkies After Dark.
Yeah, I got a little Tito's with
whoa, no free ads. Just said no free ads.
Sorry. No brand named vodka in here.
We're coming off the Masters. Typically, this is a week where we are extremely hungover. However, we've managed to do it. I think we've put together a pretty good podcast. We've been doing this 4 years. We just finished recording our podcast for the Heritage, and I think this may be some of our best post-Masters work yet.
It's pretty amazing because typically it's just everybody has the Masters hangover. If you don't know what it is, I don't know what to tell you, but it's real. It's real. But I felt like we had a pretty good show. And, we didn't fight really at all. So, I don't know.
Kind of weird.
We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. But I'm excited for this tournament. You know, the Heritage is one of those tournaments that it has the unfortunate position of coming right after the Masters. But we always have a really good field. And we have a good field this week. It's a great course. You know, a ball striker's course. One of those... where we see some guys with some good course history here always tend to do well. So I think this is a good week. You know,
in other news, Tiger Woods won the Masters. It was probably the greatest thing that could have happened in golf. I am wearing our Tiger God shirt just in celebration of Tiger. It was an amazing finish Sunday at the Masters. It's a great week. We hope you guys had some green screen disease over there on DraftKings. It was a successful week.
Are you going to tear up again? Because I felt like you almost teared up like 3 times on the podcast. I was trying to keep it together. I mean, this is it was a little bit of a problem of ours. But are you going to keep it together here for the rest of this show?
Yeah, I think I'm good. Let's talk a little bit about the Heritage. Whew, this is right down the street, Hilton Head Island in South Carolina. It's on the coast. Cool coastal track. Pete Dye designed golf course. Pete Dye, known for a few things. He's known for intimidation off the tee. He's known for some small greens, some Bermuda greens, which is what we face today, or this week, what the players are going to face. Tree-lined fairways, tight, tough to hit, and really itty-bitty tiny, like the size of Pat's pinky fingers. Is very tiny greens, very hard to hit.
Little greens.
Very hard to hit greens. So if you miss these greens, you got to be scrambling. You know what I mean? You got to be getting up and down. You got to be able to putt on Bermuda. And that's what I got to say about that. Pat, anything else to add? We don't have a lot of disagreement here, so this might be a short show.
No, I think you're right. It's definitely one of those courses where this is a ball striker's course. You got to hit the greens. You got to pick your spots. I mean, the fairways are wide. They're not exactly like difficult fairways.
They're tree line, though. They're tight.
But because you've got these, it's the sight lines there. You're looking at it and you're like, look, if I miss this fairway, I'm in the freaking trees. So they're right up on the fairways. It's not like, it's totally opposite from what we saw just this past week at Augusta National, where it doesn't really matter all that much if you maybe spray it a little bit. So yeah, you got to be accurate, even though the fairways are actually relatively easy to hit.
All right, I got one guy, Pat. I mean, I know we try to at least hammer 2 people each that we really disagree with. But we for the most part, we just recorded the show. I mean, we're not going to conjure anything up. That's not what we're about. At the Tour Junkies, we're about being authentic, right? We're not going to give you some fluff. There is one play that you mentioned on the podcast that I kind of greatly disagree with in playing this week in DFS, and that is Dustin Johnson. DJ as the highest priced player at $11,600 on DraftKings. You know, he's an RBC sponsored guy. He's here, He's here on the sponsors exemption. Now, I know he played here last year. He finished 16th. But if you had DJ last year, who was the highest price guy, and he finished 16th, guess what? You didn't really get the value that you needed out of him in DFS to really make it worth the play. Now, he checks a lot of boxes, but here's some boxes that he doesn't check. Strokes gained putting on Bermuda over the last 100 rounds is something I looked at. He is 89th in this field of 135 in strokes gained putting on Bermuda over the last 100 rounds. It is not a strength of DJ's to putt these greens. And in fact, it is his worst green surface. He putts great on Poa annua. He putts okay on Bent, which we just saw at Augusta National. But he is pretty bad when it comes to putting on Bermuda. So the combination of putting on Bermuda and the fact that you take the driver out of his hand. I know he can hit fairways here because he's going to scale down. He's going to hit irons, which is fine. But you're taking his greatest weapon out of his hand, and you're paying the #1 price for the highest price guy in DFS. And I do think there's value in the 6K. I get that. I think there's value in the 6K range. But I don't like playing DJ here as the highest price guy at an RBC event. That is the one pick that I disagree with completely. Can't play him. Don't think it's a wise decision.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Look, and first off, I'll start with this. I agree. There's a lot of good guys in the 6K range, which is going to enable you to fit a guy like DJ in your lineups. But here's the thing. And it's certainly a position where I want to see where his ownership flies later on in the week. But look, this is a guy that has said he likes this course. He's obviously the
He
class
says that
because
the sponsors tell him he has to say that.
That's okay. I understand that. But you know what? There's a lot of guys up here. You got your DeChambeaus, Schauffele, Molinari, all played very well last week. Kuchar played well. Cantlay played well. All of these guys. So I think you might get sort of a lower-owned DJ, somebody that everybody wants to fade because they think maybe this isn't the right course for him because it's not a bomber's course at all. But it's a course he said he's liked. He checks a box in ball striking. He's 3rd in the field in ball striking. He's 4th in greens and regulation. 5th, strokes gained approach. Scrambling, he checks the box there. So everything there. I mean, checks a box. He's there. So I think that for DJ, if you get a lower-owned DJ, I'm going to play him. I want to be playing a lower-owned DJ every week. That you get him low-owned, which is typically not going to happen. I think that's going to happen this week because you've got so many guys around him that are cheaper options that have been playing well. So I think that's going to be important this week. And look, I know last year he didn't really perform all that well. I mean, he did. He finished, in the top 16. But I'm okay with that. I think this is going to be a week for him. I think he can win this tournament. So I like some DJ, and I think you're going to be able to fit in some great lineups with him, especially in GPPs. Not going to play him in cash, but I like him in tournaments this week.
Okay. Agree to disagree.
So there you go. Now, here's a guy I don't like that you like. At the bottom of the 9K range is Siwoo Kim. I just can't. I don't understand playing Siwoo Kim. It's like throwing your money down the drain and just saying like, okay, maybe the drain's going to fly down to the rainbow land, or maybe the drain's going to fly down to the cesspool somewhere. I mean, it's just like you never know what's going to happen with Siwoo Kim. I mean, it's just week in and week out. It's just a total guess. You're paying $9,000 for him. Doesn't check the box in driving accuracy. Doesn't check the box in greens and regulation. Doesn't check the box in proximity, which I think is key. And you got to hit these greens in the right spots. There's nothing there that, I don't know. Why do you play Siwoo? Why do you give yourself the pain? It's pain. And you know what? He also had pain in the last event I watched him in when he was like falling on, like he hurt his ribs or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Oh, you mean the event he finished 4th at the Valero, and then he finished it up by 21st at the Masters when he had long odds? Okay. You are clearly on something, but Siwoo Kim is in pretty good form right now, as you mentioned. 21st at the Masters, 4th at the Valero, Texas the week before. He finished 2nd here last year here you are, Mr. Course History guy. He finished runner-up here last year and 14th his first time playing it in 2016. Here's the boxes that he does check. Pete Dye designed golf courses over the last 50 rounds. He is second in strokes gained total on Pete Dye designed golf courses to none other than Matt Kuchar. He loves some Pete Dye designed golf courses. I mean, he won the Players' Championship, which is a Pete Dye design. He's also 5th in strokes gained around the green. He's getting up and down. He's 35th in strokes gained approach over the last 24 rounds, so the irons aren't terrible. Now, he's not a tremendous putter. He can be a little too aggressive, which can be the downfall of Siwoo Kim. But at $9,000, I do think he's going to be pretty low owned. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him because he's a little volatile. You got Kisner right there. You got Charles Howell III, Ian Poulter, Webb Simpson, who a lot of people are going to be on. I think Siwoo Kim can be overlooked. I think he's a GPP play. Only, I would not play him in cash. I understand that the reservation can be a little volatile, but Siwoo likes him some Pete Dye. I mean, he just does. And if you're new to DFS golf, if you're new to golf in general, like certain course designers just suit a guy, and I think Pete Dye just suits Siwoo Kim.
That's called course history, by the way.
Not necessarily. I mean,
if you want like this. That's what that is. That's course history.
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, a guy
if it suits your eye, it's course history. It suits your eye. That means you enjoy the course. Yeah.
Okay. So I like Siwoo Kim. I think he's a very good GPP move. That's just what I think. Not a lot of disagreement on the podcast this week, so we're going to get right into the DK Sportsbook picks. Pat, I've got a few here that I like. Most of them are outright, but I do think there is an egregious issue with the way
egregious issue.
Yes, with the way DraftKings has priced a former winner here. In fact, he's won twice. Boo Weekley, our boy Boo Weekley, good old Southern boy, has won twice here at Harbor Town. Is a ball striker like no other. Now, he doesn't have full status on the PGA Tour this year. That may be why he's priced the way he is. He's been grinding away on the web.com. But here's what we know about Boo Weekley from people close to Boo Weekley. Boo hits his ball where Boo wants to hit his ball. If you want him to draw it 3 yards or cut it 2.5 yards, that's what Boo's going to do. And that is what is required of him at Harbor Town. And he is right now on DraftKings 60-1 for a top 5 for a top 5 result on DraftKings Sportsbook, and I think 60-1 for a top 5 of a 2-time former winner is quite egregious. So I'm going Boo Weekley. The shorter odds guys that I like right now are Kevin Kisner at 33-1. We know Kiz loves this golf course. Harbor Town is perfect for him. He is in great form. He has this event circled on his calendar every single year. He absolutely loves it. 33-1 is as short as I'm going. I'm not going any shorter than that. After him, I'm going 66-1. Brandt Snedeker, another RBC guy, short knocker, very good scrambler. So when he misses these greens, he can get up and down. Good ball striker, plays well in tough conditions. That's one thing we didn't mention. The wind and the weather looks to be a factor so far for Harbor Town. You're going to want to check that come Wednesday night before lineup lock on the East Coast. So Brandt Snedeker at 66-1. The last guy I'm going to give you is Scott Brown at 175-1. Old Brownie, he's an Aiken boy, one of Kisner's best friends. Grew up in South Carolina, very familiar with this golf course, has played it a bunch. The results lately have been a little scattered, but Brownie's a ball striker. He's a grinder. He loves playing courses where everybody's hitting to the same spots in the fairway, and then it's an iron competition into these tough greens. 175-1 is worth a little bit of unit on a little Scott Brown. That's what I got.
Yeah, I like that. You know, here's the thing. You know, we talk about this on the show as far as the podcast is concerned, is that we don't discuss our picks at all before we go onto the show, and I think that definitely is the case as well when it comes to the bets that we have as far as the DK Sportsbook. We don't really talk about these. So when it comes to Scott Brown, I'm with you there, but I'm going to go one step further. I actually like him as a first round leader bet on DraftKings Sportsbook at 100-1. I think that's a good play there. I love that. So I'm not surprised at all that you mentioned Scott Brown as an outright winner, but I like him at that first round leader bet at 100-1. Looking at odds, I'll go a little bit shorter than Kiz. I do like some Webb Simpson at 22-1. Okay there with that one. Also SUNGJAE, a guy I'm big on this week at 40-1. I think he's a great play. Looking at some longer odds, our boy Joel Dahmen, we didn't mention him on the podcast, but I think 150-1 is a pretty good number for him to win the tournament. A guy who's been in good recent form. This is a good course fit for him. I like that. And then some Adam Schenk as well at 150-1. Another guy that's just been playing really well this year, making cuts, has contended. So I think that could be somebody you want to look at. And then I'll give you one other first-round leader bet that I skipped over, by the way. Brian Harman at 90-1, a guy from Savannah, sort of a local guy, has played here as an amateur. This is probably the longest-running tournament that he has played. He got amateur invites back when he was back with the Georgia Bulldogs. Knows this course well. I think he could be, a factor this week. And then, a top 20 bet, I like Scott Stallings at 8-1. He is 8-1 to finish top 20 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I think that's probably a good bet as well. A guy who's been in really good recent form, fits this course, so I like that also.
Sounds good. Chock full of bets. Pat, congratulations to you on hitting the Tiger Woods in the final group bet last week, by the way, on DK Sportsbook at 10-1, and your one and done pick. So shout out there. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure and listen to the Tour Junkies podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. And hey, while you're on this channel, if you're on YouTube, give it a little likey, a little thumbs uppy. Maybe give it a little subscribey, a little sharey. That'd be really nice of you to do that. We would appreciate it. Thank you guys. May your screens be green. See ya.